Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel again. Here I am showing you an art journal entry, and first of all what I'm going to be doing is applying gesso all over my pages, and I use a paint spatula to kind of give the pages a little bit of texture while I'm applying the gesso. And then I get my distress crayons, which are water activated, and I go in there with a dark blue, lighter blue, and then this lilac that shows up kind of bluish, but I'll change that by adding an actual purple distress crayon on there. And what you can do to blend this out is either dip your finger in water, or you can use a baby wipe. So I use both mediums to blend this out. And as you can see, I'm going back, I'm adding a couple layers of color until I am satisfied with the background. So again, all I'm doing is blending and adding more layers onto this page. And at some point, I realized that I needed a more vibrant purple. So I went ahead and picked up the darkest purple from the Distress Crayons by Tim Holtz. And that's where I started to blend. And as you can see, I'm actually blending the blues with one finger, the purple with another finger, and then the yellow and orange, I'm blending it with another finger. And then I realized that the colors are too vibrant, so I go in with a little bit of water, trying to mute that color a bit. So I use a little bit of water with a brush, and then I use a wipey, and then I just go and finish it off with my fingers, buffing it out. So I go back and forth, changing it until I'm fully satisfied with the colors. Then I seal everything with Matte Medium by Jane Davenport, and this comes with the white gesso. It comes in a pack, so you get the matte medium and the white gesso. And this just is going to help seal everything because the distress crayons are water activated, so I will be using other mediums and I don't want anything moving around. So this helps seal everything in place, and it also gives me a slick surface if I want to buff out anything else on top of this page. So then I'm just, you can actually leave it to dry, but I am very impatient, so I use my heat setting gun. Next, I'm going in with my Bo Bunny Dreamer stamp set, and I'm going to be using that hot air balloon. And I'm picking these two colors, patterns to stamp on top. And I will be using an orange archival ink stamp set, and then the archival ink blue color. And here I'm just stamping the orange on top of the yellow paper, and then I do the same with the pink pattern, and I stamp the blue on top. Then I just go ahead and cut it around, and I realized I just wanted the balloon without the string, so I cut around all that, and I'm just left with the balloons. So next, I wanted to kind of give this a vintage feel, so I go in there with the color coffee in archival ink, and then I use the distress ink withered twigs, and then just start buffing it out around the balloon with my buffing tool. And then I realized that I wanted a little bit more interest in this balloon, and so I wanted to define the lines around the orange lines here of this hot air balloon. So I just go in with my microline pen, and then just start going around the lines and adding the details around this balloon. And I thought about doing it to the other one, but I realized that it was busy enough, so I didn't want to take away from that. And then I realized I wanted more balloons, so I add these two other patterns and stamp in sepia and then the other in teal color. And I do the same process as I did for the other two. So now I'm coming back to my background. Once everything has dried, I go ahead and start working other details into the background. So here I have Deco Art paste, and basically all it will dry and give more of a mixed media feel. And I have this little circles or little dots stencil, and I'm just spreading the paste all around with my spatula, and then I go in and kind of remove some of it that I want a certain look, so I remove it with the spatula. And then I just heat set everything with my heat embossing tool. And then I have the Bow Bunny Rough It Up stamp set, and I'm going in with this pattern that looks kind of like a patchy, and it's just going to give it a nice interest and texture to this page. So I use the dark blue, and I'll leave all of the actual colors in the description area. And what I'm doing is I'm just randomly stamping using second and third generation stamping here. And then I do the same around the purple and yellow and orange areas. So I'll remove the blue ink with a baby wipe and then pick another color and stamp it on that coordinating color. So here you see me stamping on the yellow areas with a yellow ink, and then now I'm doing the orange stamping in the orange section. And all these are archival inks, and I actually purchased, like, I believe it was 16 to 18 maybe pieces of the mini set of archival at blitsy.com. So I ended up buying 4 sets and had a bunch of really nice colors, and they were for $9 and change, and so I ended up purchasing them for $39, which I thought was great because archival ink by itself can run between $6.99 to $7.99, the regular size at the store. So I got all these different colors for $39, just in case you were interested in purchasing them. So as you saw, I used a lettered stamp set, block stamp, and just did the same thing, used the coordinating colors and stamped based on that color. And then the clock that is in the Dream Bow Bunny stamp set, I went ahead and used that and used the archival ink in sepia, and then just randomly stamped them around. And again, I'm using second generation, first generation, second generation, and third generation stamping just to give it a different look. And I'm just doing this randomly. And that same stamp set has the word Imagine. It kind of looks like Scrabble letter blocks, so I went ahead and randomly placed that as well. So now I'm getting this lace pattern from this the Paper Studio pattern set, and then I am drawing some clouds, and then I'm just using my scissors, cutting them out, and then giving them this vintage feel with withered twigs. And then now I'm just figuring out where I want to place these clouds. Once I like the placement, I'm going to go ahead and use my matte gel medium and place those down. Once I finish pasting these down with my gel medium, the largest cloud that's sticking off the page, I go ahead and just trim off the excess with my scissors. So once everything is dry, I grab my archival ink in sepia with my blending tool, and I wanted to give somewhat of a border around this entry. So I start going all around the edges of the pages with my blending tool, and it helps give this a different look, and it helps the center actually pop because of the dark edges along the pages on the border. And I just really like the feel that it gave. It just felt vintagey, and I'm really into that kind of style and just the look of it. I loved it. I really enjoyed this entry so much. I had so much fun. So now I'm actually figuring out where I want to place my balloons, and again I'm using my matte gel medium from Jane Davenport to secure all these balloons. The middle one I actually had to cut in half. So I drew a line with my pencil and then cut it, and then just pasted it along that crack. I don't know if I'm expressing that correctly, but it's just so everything will close correctly. Then I'm drying everything with my heat embossing tool, making sure everything is nice and dry so that I can work on my page some more. So then I wanted to work on the bottom of the hot air balloons. So I'm just getting the hot air balloon stamp and just stamping the bottom with sepia archival ink. And I'm doing that 4 times. And once I'm done, I just go ahead and cut around the stamp images. And I also wanted to make sure that the edges where I cut were not beige or white. So I go in with the sepia archival ink and my blending tool and start blending along those edges of the bottom of the hot air balloon, or the basket part of the hot air balloon. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't stamp the lines that came with the stamp set image. So what I do is I grab the clear stamp set and kind of gauge where those baskets should be, how far down. And then once I grab my gel medium to paste these down my page, I go in with the ruler and my microline pen and start drawing the lines from the basket to the hot air balloon. So I'm just focusing on the corners of each side. And then I use my microline to kind of go over the balloon and the basket images here, just so they kind of pop out a bit from the page. And then I decided I wanted to do the same with the clouds, and then I changed my mind. So I was able to remove that quickly with my baby wipe, I'm sorry. And the reason I am able to do that was because I had that gel medium slick surface at the bottom. And I did it quickly enough. So then I attempted to use this distress marker to kind of make a more vintage vibe around the clouds here, but I left it as is. And then I'm using my Hero Art single stamps, and I'm writing my quote, and the quote is, "Don't let fear hold you down." And I thought this was so cute and so neat. I really enjoyed the process, and I just fell in love with this entry. I think this is my favorite so far. Then lastly, I just add some highlights with my Uniball Signal white pen, and then I have my Faber-Castell Pip pen. And then I'm just adding a little bit of highlights around those clouds. And then lastly, I just stamp the art journal, and it is done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video, and I hope you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I hope you got inspired to make your own art journal entry with your favorite quotes. And here's some pictures of the finished art journal entry. Thank you so much for watching.